So a couple of things that I did. I have a web page talking about one of my favorite places to visit when I'm in Puerto Rico. This is called El Morro, and this is an old San Juan. And I want to create something like a informational flyer or just something promoting uh, this landmark. So I have the web page open for my. I'm going to use this to grab some text. I already found some pictures I want to use. Maybe this one or another one that I got somewhere. I think it was one of these. I don't know. And in Photoshop, I went ahead and created a canvas that's 8 by 10, the same size that I just told you to make, right? So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to import a picture so I can do some editing. So now to import a picture, you have several options. Obviously, you can do where is it? Place embedded, or you can do place linked. Let me see if I can zoom in on that. Wait, cancel real quick. All right, let's go here before I do that. Okay. So here's your two options. You can go to File, Place Embedded, or Place Linked. I normally like to do this. I actually just go to File, Open, and I'll tell you why in a second. Let me go to Layout. I have these two pictures. I have this one. Let's see if it opens up. Any day now. Okay, and then I have that one. I think I want to use this one. All right, so what I like to do is I open this picture because I can open it at full resolution. If I go ahead and place it into this document, it's going to place it and force it to fit within the canvas. And I don't really want that. I don't want to lose any quality. So what I'm going to do here is, since I have this picture, now I can hit Command A to select all, or you can always go to your keyboard commands, right? And Command C to copy, okay? Now that it's in memory, I can switch back to my blank canvas and I'll hit Command V to paste it. Now, notice how it's right here. The whole picture is there. It's just kind of hiding, you know, this is whatever fits in the frame. So now what I want to do is hit Command T to transform it. So I want to be able to scale this picture. So let's say I want to show more sky and maybe not so much. Like down here, you see how I have this guy, like this tourist over here? I don't want that in my picture. And I want to leave some area open so that I can put my text, right? And I do like this part of the architecture, so I want to keep some of that in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just slide this down and purposely position it so that I only get about that much. I got the nice sunset and I got all this space up here. So I'll hit return. Now, if you guys remember, we did a thing previously where we were able to fill in some blank area. What was that called? Anyone? No, like what's it called when you want to fill that in with the similar background? It's called content aware. So we're going to go to edit. Oh, wait a minute, it's not letting me do that. I gotta check my layers. Let me check my layers first, see where I am. Let me adjust my window here. Oh, my layer is hiding all the way down there. All right, hold on a second. Let me just grab that. It's on my extended screen. There we go. Okay, so I'm gonna click on the layer to make sure that the picture is the active layer. I have my selection. Notice how I'm grabbing a couple of pixels of this right here on purpose. And now I should be able to go to Edit, Fill, and I'm going to say Content Aware. And let's see if this works out for me or not. Hit OK. And it gave it a shot. Not too bad. Not horrible, but not perfect either. So what I'll do here is, let me see if I can, I think what I'm going to do here is, the patch tool will sometimes work. The problem here is I have white. So look what happens if I try to do the patch tool. That actually worked out kind of. You see that? But I don't like this what's happening right here. Didn't really blend it too well. We'll fix that. So I'll go here using my patch tool and try to grab some of this stuff. There we go. That one's pretty good. So I'm gonna go in here. I don't like how this came out, so I'll grab some of that, see if I can do a little more blending. Again, not perfect, but I'm gonna be fading that out anyway. All right, so now I have the picture is occupying the space that I want. Now I could do more things to this, right? Let's say I know I'm gonna have text on here, so I need to lighten some of this area up. So let's see if I can use my quick selection tool. And instead of using the sky, oh, maybe I can, I'll give it a shot. Let's try the sky first, see what happens. If I try to select just the sky, there we go, not too bad. I got a pretty clean selection, right? That looks pretty good. Let's see if I go all the way, there we go. So I got a pretty good selection here. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm going to inverse this selection, or I could leave it. You know what, I'm gonna leave it because I have an idea. I'm gonna just hide my selection. Do you guys remember to hide the selection is what? Command what? H, there you go, Command H. So the selection's still there. I'm just gonna hide it so it's not so, you know, it's not in my way. And in my layers, what I'm gonna do is I am going to, if I can just get my layers to fit in this window. Let me reset my palette here. Workspace, let's do reset essentials, okay. All right, let's try that again, here we go. So in my layers, now that I have that selected, I'm gonna go here and I wanna say, let's see if I can change, I'll do the exposure. Let's try the exposure. And let's see what happens. Since I have that selected, I could blow this out to get an effect, or I could make it even darker, right? That's not too bad, but I don't know if I want to blow it out that much because I still want to have maximum legibility, but I actually kind of like brightening it up a little bit. It's more dramatic, right? And what's nice about it is I can always turn it on and off. So I have that, that's pretty good. One more thing I want to do is I think I want to fade just the top of this a little bit, or maybe the side, or maybe in an angle, I don't know. I'm gonna create a mask right here, and instead of using a gradient, I'm gonna use a brush. Just make a brush really big, and I'm gonna change the how powerful the brush is. Right now I have the opacity set to 14. I'm gonna do about 20, 21. All right, so with this brush, and I have black set to my foreground. Remember, black takes away, white brings it back, right? That's when we're working with a mask. Okay, so I'm gonna just lighten this up because I know I'm gonna have text that's gonna go over this area. So I'm fading this out. There's gonna be information here. It doesn't matter if it looks like this, that's fine. Okay, all right, so now I think this picture's ready. So I'm gonna save it, and I'm gonna put it in the folder called layout. We're just gonna call this Morro. I'm saving it as a Photoshop document. Now, there's several formats you can use when you're saving a file. Photoshop is your native document. Photoshop document is the one that maintains your layers, right? Now, that's usually good practice. But one of the problems is this. Let's say you were creating a flyer and you wanted to then email it to someone. Maybe you wanted to give somebody your files or just transport it somewhere, right? Photoshop documents also your largest size document. So the file size is pretty big. So what you could also do is save it as a JPEG. So what I do first is I'll save the PSD, right? I'm gonna save that because that's my master file. That way I maintain these layers. But if I want to do my layout, I'll do a JPEG version. So I'll do save as, and I'm going to use JPEG. Now I'm using JPEG because JPEG has compression, right? So what compression means is it's creating a file size that's much, much smaller than the Photoshop file. So it'll still look really good, but it'll load much faster. All right, so just keep that in mind whenever you're doing layout. Save both. You always want to have your master file, but it's also good to have JPEG when you're doing your layout. All right, so this is good to go. Now I'm gonna go over to a different program. All right, so this is called Adobe Illustrator. All right, so we're gonna do a very quick lesson on this. I'm gonna stop this one right here.